Welcome to the Puberty Prof podcast, where information and tools are shared to help you have conversations about puberty and other growing up topics. Here is your host, Lori Reichel, the Puberty Prof, a nationally recognized health educator, author of the award-winning book, Common Questions Children Ask About Puberty, and creator of the Talk Puberty app.
Hi, and welcome to the Puberty Prof podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Lori Reichel, the Puberty Prof. For the fall 2022 series of the Puberty Prof podcast, episodes are focusing on the topics noted in the National Sexuality Education Standards. This specific episode focuses on the topic strand of consent and healthy relationships. To help explain what this topic is about and how to talk with young people about consent and healthy relationships, I invited Mike Domitrz, who is from the Center for Respect, is an international speaker and an author of 3 books and an award-winning DVD, in which, Mike, you beat me. I have 1.5 books. I'm a co-author of 1 book, and then I authored another one. So thank you so much for being here today. And would you mind saying hi to our audience?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Thrilled to be here. Thanks, Lori, for having me on, and really looking forward to diving into this conversation.
Well, I thank you again for being here. And you're currently working at the Center for Respect. What is that?
The Center for Respect is an organization I founded now going on over 20 years ago. When we first founded it, it was the Date Safe Project, and it evolved into the Center for Respect.
Okay. And can I ask why you started the Center for Respect?
Yes. So back when I first started speaking, and it was just me, a solo individual speaking, and they didn't have staff, they didn't have people helping out. People would say, well, it's Mike Domitrz, it's the Can I Kiss You program. That was the name of my speech. But what we found was that the books, the instruction guide, everything we were creating, people were like, oh, it's just an author. And we thought, well, what if we create an organization that's really focused on this topic that could serve and provide more materials? And so that's when we created the Date Safe Project. And then as we evolved, we realized, look, everything we're doing is actually focused on respect, whether it's dating, workplace, wherever it is. And that's why we evolved into the Center for Respect.
And may I ask, what is your background?
Yes, my background is I'm the brother of a survivor, and this is where this all began. I was a college student, received a phone call that one of my sisters had been raped. And I was filled with rage, anger, confusion, hurt. And over time, I would recognize that there was something I could do about this, that instead of just being filled with all of those emotions, I could do something by speaking out. And I learned that by seeing somebody else speak out. So I saw the strength and the courage of my sister and realized, hey, that inspired me to want to do more. And I started speaking in schools, and it really grew from there. And that was now going back 30 years ago.
Wow. And I'm so sorry that that happened to your sister.
I appreciate that. She's doing great today. It's one of the things that we really talk about in my work is the strength and courage of survivors and the amazing lives they can lead.
Would you mind letting us know, what are the books and DVD that I referred to earlier? What are their titles and what are they about?
Yes. So the one is out of print now because we evolved it to a different book. So there's really 2 nowadays. It's Voices of Courage, and that's 12 survivors sharing their stories. And that includes of all different sexual orientations, genders, and identities. My sister is one of the 12 survivors. It's very inspiring, very powerful. The other book is called Can I Kiss You? And that is all about healthy relationships, consent, really from 12 years and up. I mean, we have 40 and 50-year-olds who are single or married who are using the book, and then middle schools are using the book. So it has a wide net of an audience. So those are the 2 books. The DVD is called Help, My Teen is Dating, Real Solutions to Tough Conversations. And that is for parents specifically. Sometimes parents are like, oh, is that for me to give my kid? Nope, that's for you to sit down and watch. And what's funny is the response kids have watching their parents watch it. Like, we've had parents reach out to us and say, my kid walked by, saw what you were saying and said, that's how I want to be talked to, not the way I've been. So it's been really powerful for parents to have that experience.
And this is why I love connecting with other professionals in the field, because certainly parents and other caregivers need tools. I'm not sure if you're aware of this. I created the Talk Puberty app and the Talk Before Sex app because I'm very passionate about people talking with one another on this topic we don't always have it modeled in the media or within our own personal life with family members and friends. So people need tools out there. So that's great that you have the DVD. And what is it titled again?
Help My Teen is Dating.
Excellent.
It should really be called Help I Have a Kid, because a lot of parents recognize you don't really want to wait till teen to watch that. But if we were to retitle it, we probably would shift it a little bit.
Yeah. And I have to admit, one of the ways that I've spoken to parents and other caregivers in the classroom when they ask about what we're teaching kids, because that word, that three-letter word of sex kind of scares us at times, because it's like, oh, you're going to talk all about this sex and blah, blah, blah. No, it's not really about the act of sex per se. It's really about healthy relationships. And it starts with a healthy relationship with oneself and then a healthy relationship with others, because that's what we're hoping for our kids. Would you agree?
Yeah. In fact, I'll give you a great example of this. So for almost 20 years, my program in universities, military, my main program people hired me for to come do live was called Can I Kiss You? And that was true in middle schools and high schools. And we kept noticing in middle schools and high schools, they wouldn't bring it in. A lot wouldn't bring it in. While some very progressive would, others were not. And all we did was change the name. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. We went from Can I Kiss You to Safer Choices. And suddenly the doors blew open for demand. And it wasn't that the schools didn't want Can I Kiss You? It's that they were fearful of what the parents thought I was going to say, because the word kiss was in there. And if I was going to be talking about kissing, that would lead to other things. Now, what's amazing about that is, they have pregnant students in the front row. So the idea that we can't acknowledge even the beginning concepts of consent around, the kiss. I'm okay with the change of name, because if it helps us get in the door and reach tens of thousands more students each year, well, then we're happy to get in those doors and reach those tens of thousands. Because as you said, Lori, this is about skill building. This is about being able to set boundaries for myself, being able to honor the boundaries of a partner. And look, if you're doing all of that, the fact is abstinence is going to soar. So this idea that if we talk about it, they're all going to want to do it more than they ever did before. Students say the opposite. Look, if I have these skills, I'm going to feel safer saying no when I want to say no, because I'm often saying yes when I want to say no, because I don't have the skills or the confidence to understand that it's okay for me to say no, that that's not mean, that that's not cruel, that I don't have to make the other person happy. But they're lacking all of the skills and knowledge.
And I love the fact that it's the skill of communication. That is my favorite standard. We have 8 national health education standards, and my favorite is always the communication one, the effective communication skill, because we don't always see it again modeled out there. So we have to teach the basics about communication.
Absolutely. And self-worth. So even if I have the skills of communication, if I know that it's okay for me to say no when you give me a choice, but I don't believe that I'm as valuable as you, then even though I have the skill set to know it's okay to say no, I'll still say yes to make you happy, because you're more valuable than me. I'm dating you and you're a 9 and I think I'm a 5. And if I think I'm a 5 and you're a 9, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep the 9 happy, because you're more valuable than me. And that's a real challenge in society. It has been forever. That's nothing new. And so it's giving the skills for each student to recognize, no, I'm a 10, you're a 10. I'm being the best person I can be each day. That makes me a 10. This isn't about perfection. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We're on this journey.
Mm-hmm. And that everybody is deserving of love and respect.
Absolutely.
Now, you kind of answered this question, but I'm going to phrase the question in a way that even if you restate something, it's okay. The Puberty Prof podcast, I focus on a lot of the challenges that preteens face, in which some of the challenges are those physical things that we go through as we're growing up. And I'm having some more reviews about what those challenges are. Those are the physical ones. Yet your program, Safer Choices, which is a school assembly program, you provide information about other challenges. And would you explain what some of those challenges are for our audience today?
To hear more on this topic, listen to the full episode on your favorite podcast platform. And remember to check out the Talk Puberty app. Thanks for listening to this part of this episode, and have a happy and healthy day.
Thank you for listening to the Puberty Prof podcast, where information and tools are shared to help you have conversations about puberty and other growing up topics. Did you enjoy this episode? Please like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also follow the Puberty Prof on Twitter or Instagram. The Puberty Prof, Lori Reichel, wants to hear from you. Go to pubertyprof.com or click on the link in this episode's description. There you can find more information, as well as ask questions to be answered by the Puberty Prof in a future episode. That's pubertyprof.com. Also, remember to check out the Talk Puberty app and the book, Common Questions Children Ask About Puberty. Until next time, this is the Puberty Prof podcast, where information and tools are shared to help you have conversations about puberty and other growing up topics.